You're now tuned in to K Money Hotline.
Listen, I know. I literally, it's like I am your father and I told you I would be right back and then I just left you guys in the dust. I am so sorry. Everybody's like, we forgot about you. Like, we didn't even miss you. No, listen, guys, I don't know if somebody hexed me. I don't know what's been going on the last few months, and it sucks. I'll get into that in a second. But, like, I've just been, like, swooping down the slope of negativity and depression. And I mean, I guess that's nothing new per se, because that is like just a common thing for me, but I can usually pull myself out of it around summer, right? Because summer vibes. I mean, let's be real, summer vibes. It's sunny out, and when you're depressed when it's sunny out, it's so much worse because you feel so guilty for it, because it's like, bro, I'm supposed to be outside, I'm supposed to be like at the beach, I'm supposed to be naked right now. But listen, I'm good, we're here. I'm turning 24. That's the thing. I am in the car right now. And it is pouring. First of all, I went to the movies today and I just thought it was a rainy day. Didn't know we were in the middle of a tropical storm. And then I was like seeing all of these videos of New York literally being flooded. And I was like, oh, I guess this is what's happening for the next week and a half. So I hope everyone's safe. Like, I literally did not know that's what was going on. But the reason I mention that is because I am recording this in the car at 11 p.m., the eve of my birthday, and it is raining right now. So if you hear something that sounds like nickels hitting a tin roof, it's because it's raining. So I've decided to do what every washed up YouTuber does when their birthday rolls around, and they collect every valuable lesson they learned in their very short life and present it as like the things that they learned before they turn whatever year they're turning. I literally still cannot believe I'm saying I'm turning 24. Like, the thing about, it's not 24 in particularly, I just feel like when you're younger, or at least for me, I'm in high school, right? I'm like, oh my God, I want to be all these things. I want to do all these things. Like, I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I graduate, or by the time I'm 20. 20, I feel like, is that hot spot where you're like, like, I am not going to be a fucking loser anymore once I hit those digits. You turn 20. Let's be real, when you're 20, you're still kind of, at least for me, like, I feel like I was still in that 18-year-old headspace because, like, nothing had really happened to me still. Like, my circumstances were still the same. I was just, like, able to say I'm not 18 anymore. You turn 21, you're able to drink. It's, like, not as, like, mischievous anymore. It kind of loses that excitement and that mystery, but you're still like, you know what, I'm going to go out all the time. I'm going to go out all the time now that it's not an issue. You get that phase out. You turn 22, right? 22, I feel like, is when you get that first slap where you're like, oh my God, I passed the age that everybody glamorizes, like, for the rest of their life. 21 is that year where people are like, oh, I wish, forever 21. I wish I could be forever 21. It's the golden years, right? 22 is that first little hump where you're like, oh shit, like, maybe I should get my shit together. 23, everybody fucking hates you when you're 23. That's where I'm at now, and I'm so happy to close this chapter. I am so beyond grateful. And I want to say something too about being 23 years old. So in astrology, I know, don't shut the podcast off. I promise it's going to be quick. In astrology, every single age of your life, every single age has a different house that's activated as a perfection year. And it's the same for everybody. So, like, when you turn 1, you're in a first house year. When you turn 2, you're in a second house year. When you turn 12, actually, I think it might be off by a year. But when you turn 23, yeah, because it goes by the 12 houses. When you turn 23, you are in your second 12th house year. So think about when you were 12, right? Usually a pretty hard year for everybody, even if, like, you're the popular girl, you have the lime green bedroom, you're wearing Bobby Jack, like, you're good. Even then, 12 is still hard, right? Because everybody hates themselves when they're 12. Or you're in some situation where you're just like, oh my God, I'm so awkward, like, oh my God, going through puberty. 23 is the repeat of those feelings you had when you were 12, because it's the same house year. And the 12th house rules what's hidden, secrets, feeling trapped, things that you tucked away in your brain and your heart coming to the surface, feeling like isolated, all of that stuff. Your skeletons, your ghosts coming out of your closet. So 23 is, I'm saying this to like calm and soothe anybody's nerves, because I felt this at the beginning of my 23rd year. I literally was like, am I going fucking nuts? Like, I hate the way I feel right now. And obviously we were in a pandemic, you know, when I turned 23. So last summer, it was like we had gotten used to the pandemic. It was still a really big issue. We had all that social justice stuff going on. What else? I moved back home. I did not want to do that. I was living here at home with my boyfriend. I had no space of my own. It was a lot of stuff I didn't fucking like going on. And I was like trying to reach out to all my friends and be like, does anybody else feel like this? Is it because of the circumstances, or is it just because we're growing up? Like, is this like the stuff we made fun of so much when we were younger? Like when we were 18 and being like, oh my God, I'm never going to be a miserable 40-year-old. Like, why am I feeling like that now? Is this normal? And obviously, I'm sure it was a little bit of everything, you know, out of the normal circumstances, growing up, and then my 23rd year, 12th house year, being activated, traumas I thought I got over, feelings I thought I had conquered, finding things out that I didn't want to know, feeling isolated, feeling trapped, and ultimately just like my subconscious mind kind of ruling everything. Point aside, I am happy to close the door on 23, blah, blah, blah. I learned a lot. Oh my God, it helped me grow. It always will, duh, that's the point of growing up, but like, I am so happy to say goodbye to that. So on a brighter note, 24, nobody cares still, but in a good way, because I feel like it's a good year where nobody's looking at you, so you have enough time to like get your ducks in a row and get your shit together. And then 25 comes around, you can pop off and be like, yep, got my own house now, I'm engaged, all this stuff is going on. Not that those things, I shouldn't have said that, because I'm not saying that those things should be accomplished by that age, because I don't even want to get married by then. I probably will not buy a house by then, just because I have commitment issues. But you know what I mean. Like 25, you kind of want to have that foundation so you can be like, you know what, okay, I'm a quarter in, we're good, we're staying afloat. And I feel like 24 is the year to, you know, stop talking to everybody and like focus on yourself really hardcore, so that you can like pop off and go crazy when you're 25. So what I did was I compiled that corny little list I was talking about, and I'm gonna whip it out. Let me pull it up on my notes app. How humble of me to be just recording this in my boyfriend's car instead of literally refusing to just get a professional setup. Guys, season 2, K-Money Hotline, I promise there will be a video version. I promise on my heart. Okay, here it is. So I put down 24 things that I feel like I learned this past year, if not this past year, just like conclusions that I've drawn out of my experiences in life thus far. These are in no particular order. All of them I think are pretty important in my book. And obviously I'm sure some of this will change, but I think a lot of this comes from like a mature place of being like tumbled into so many tumultuous experiences. So here's number 1. Being the bigger person doesn't pay off in situations where you know deep down you are getting taken advantage of. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's because my mom just raised me to like, you know, be strong, don't let things get to you, like all that kind of stuff. But I always felt like I always had to be nice. I always felt like, oh, if I'm just the good guy, like it's gonna pay off in the end, like someone's gonna notice it, or at the end of the day everybody's gonna be like, wow, you know what, Kayla was really good though, she was mature, she really handled that. Sometimes people need to be hit. Okay. maybe not that. That was this is what I mean. Someone else just possessed me to say that, because I don't know if I would hit somebody unless somebody was like being like really racist or something, or just like saying fucked up things about somebody else. I would get violent, but I can't even say that because I haven't been in that situation before. If somebody bothers you a little bit, don't hit them. But what I mean is, it's okay to shout. It's okay to yell. Those things don't invalidate your opinion. And yes, you should always keep your calm and keep your cool, but when you have people intentionally pushing you and intentionally trying to get you over that edge, yes, being calm is like the greater thing to do, but sometimes you will find more inner peace in letting that anger manifest itself physically instead of being the bigger person, quote unquote, and driving yourself nuts because you always have to carry this tension and this weight of always feeling like you have to refrain from expressing your opinions or your feelings towards something. If somebody is constantly fucking you over, you do not have to keep being the good guy for them. It's okay to say no to people. You need to set boundaries for yourself. And I promise you, if you have somebody who is trying you over and over again, let me be the one to tell you it will not pay off. You could literally save somebody's life, and if they are just somebody who does not fully value you, you will never get that day that you're imagining where they're going to sit you down and say, you know what, you were right this whole time. You cared about me so much. I should have been more appreciative of you. It's never going to come, so stop torturing yourself. Number 2, this kind of bounces off of that. Give people what they want, but learn your lesson in the process. Again, what I mean is if you're constantly around people that are trying to trigger you, learn what it is that they want, give it to them on a surface level to keep them happy, to shut them up. Learn your lesson, act accordingly. So what I mean by this is if there's somebody who every time you stick up for yourself, they gaslight you and then it turns into like a big back and forth, you end up crying, you end up being the bad guy. Figure out what this person wants to hear. If you're like stuck in an environment where you have to be around them and you simply can't just like take them out of your life, and give that to them. It will shut them up. It will make your life easier. And you just need to commit to understanding that this is how this person works. And the quicker you can get away from them, the better. Next, don't act broke when you're actually broke. And what I mean by this is whenever I this is really bad. This is a habit I need to break. But when I am like really low on money, if I have a lot of money and then I like blow it all on something, the amount of money in my bank account is really reflective of my self-worth, even if I know that I have money on the way. That's just something I personally have to unlearn. But something that's helped me along the way is that when I would get that money, immediately the first thing I would do is like go get my nails done or get some self tanner or get like hair dye or something to, give me some confidence, like amp myself back up, like, okay, I got money again, like let me feel good about myself again. And when I was like running on a lower income, I would deprive myself of those things because they weren't necessities. But I actually think I can argue that yes, if you're on a budget, I don't think you should spend your last $50 on like a set of gel acrylics, but I think it's still important to budget out self-care things so that way you're at least still valuing yourself in the process and not making it seem like, oh, okay, since I am not getting paid enough, like I'm not worthy of taking care of myself. So let's say you only got $50 in your bank account, but you've been like in a depression nap for a week now. You need to get your shit back together. I think it is worth spending $10 of that on a box of hair dye, some nail polish, and like some new body scrub or something like that, because when you feel better, you do better. You do better in life. You're better to people. You're nicer to people. You're more confident. You will make more money that way. So I really think it is important that when you're broke, don't treat yourself like you are not worthy of delicacies or something like that still. Next, probiotics work. They work. They are worth it. Like, changed my life. I feel so good. Get them. Next, get up early. Take advantage of the day. I have such an issue. I have a sleep issue. I always have. I cannot fall asleep before 5 a.m. currently. I have sleep paralysis back to back. And sometimes because I go to bed so early / late in the morning, I only sleep like 5 or 6 hours, but I'm waking up at noon. And then it feels like because I lost so much daylight that I was a bum and slept for 14 hours when I really didn't. So if you can break this cycle and you're like me, try and do it. Try and get up at 5 a.m. Every time I've done it, I've never regretted it. I've never been like, oh my God, I wish I didn't do that. I've always been like, wow, I need to do this more. You just get so much more done and you realize like how much time you really have in this life. And it's so easy to be like, oh my God, I don't have time for things, especially the things that we should be doing. And most of the time, the things that we're putting off because we quote unquote don't have time only take like literally 20 minutes or at the very most like an hour. So try to get up earlier if you can. And if it's like really hard for you, if you're somebody that can't wake And if it's really hard for you, like you're somebody that can't wake up with an alarm or something, literally just like try to wake up 10, 20 minutes earlier each day and then just keep increasing it. That way you can eventually be someone that wakes up from 8 o'clock to somebody that wakes up to 6 o'clock. Next, this is one of my big ones. This is a favorite one. Like whenever people say like, what's your best advice? This is what I always say. You need to live your life as a sim. Because the world is literally just a playground, and people forget that because we have all of this fake shit around us about like structure and things that we need to do. We're not fucking robots, okay? And we're not animals. We have the advantage, the privilege of speaking and communicating and enjoying things and having hobbies and doing these crazy things, jumping out of planes, eating like all these weird, interesting foods, being so creative with like the tools that we have around us to make art and stuff. And it is so fucking crazy that most people just boil themselves down to literally waking up, going to work, hating every moment of it, coming home, getting wasted, hating every moment of that, and then like passing out on the bed on food that was like really fucking bad for them and doing it again until they're old as fuck. Like they spend the whole time they're here doing that. It's so sad. It's so scary. You do not need to limit yourself to that. Yes, there are things in place where like you may feel limited. Try to break it at most that you can. Stop feeling bad for yourself. I'm sorry. I know that we're not in control of a lot of things, but try to make it easier on yourself than you can. It is so heartbreaking that we literally have so many things around us, so many beautiful opportunities, chances, people around us, and we don't even like leave our houses because we're just so upset about the things that we think we are forced to do here. See the world as a playground, and what I mean by that is like, it's Saturday, it's Sunday, oh, I don't have money to do stuff though. Shut the fuck up. There's so many local parks no matter where you are. Literally find a body of water somewhere, like have a picnic, because I know you're buying at least bread if you can't afford anything else. Like just try to romanticize the things around you and you will enjoy them more. It's literally for your own sake. And I hate when people are like, especially with affirmations and stuff, when people are like, well, I'm lying to myself, like that's not the truth. Like, I'm sorry, everything on earth is a placebo anyways. Like everything that we're being told by X, Y, and Z isn't even real anyways, so you might as well tell yourself something that's going to make you happier rather than like being miserable 24/7. And when I say live your life as a sim, if you're hungry, you need to eat. If you're tired, you need to sleep. When you're playing Sims, right, you make your sim do fucking wild shit that you're too scared to do in real life. You make them dress the way you want them to dress. You make them look the way you want them to look. You're like, I'm going to just make them be a stripper. I don't know how. I think it would be funny. And then you make them eat the foods you want to eat and make them date the guy you want to date. Like, just do it in real life. That's literally the point. And people like scare themselves so much to the point where they talk themselves out of like, yeah, but and it's like, oh my God, please, like, to get the fucking wheel on your life again. Sorry, I get really passionate about that. But like, seriously, everything is here for you to use. So just use it. Guys, oh my God, it's midnight. I'm 24. I don't know how to feel about it. Bro, I'm getting old. Ugh. Cheers to a new year. Happy to be alive, blessed, grateful. And I'm going to take the advice I just gave you guys. Next lesson. Surround yourself with people that know, understand, and love you, even if it's not the most insane, chaotic, fun relationship. It's important to have friends that you can do crazy shit with, that'll go on a bender or two, that'll like do risky things with you and make really crazy memories. But it's just as important to have friends that will love you when you're not in that mood and will support you when you are being chaotic in a scary way, and will, you know, make sure you're safe and try to help you as much as you can when you're in a really dark place. I would argue that it's far more important to have friends like that. Not everything's about going out. You know, in these years of your mid-20s, when people start really pairing off with their boyfriend or girlfriend, or they start getting a dog, or they start having children or a house, everybody just naturally is starting to spend time apart, away from each other, and we get isolated in our own lives. So it's important to keep friendships of people that you know you could call at like 3 or 4 in the morning and they will help you. Otherwise, you're going to dig yourself into a scary hole, and you don't want to do that. So assess your relationships and make sure it's people who genuinely care about you. The next one is stay grounded and know that you may be somebody in the position of somebody that you are judging. So what I mean by this, and I see this particularly a lot on TikTok and Twitter, and a lot of times it's like just a lighthearted joke of somebody like making fun of the way somebody acts in a relationship. So what I am thinking of is like a scenario where the punchline of the joke is a girl staying with like a guy that cheats on her a lot or something. And obviously, yeah, boo-boo the fool. You shouldn't stay with somebody that's like cheating on you. Everybody knows that. But if everybody knows that and it's so obvious, there wouldn't be people that still do it. And I think a lot of times we like to rag on the person that we think is embarrassing, but then we forget that we could also end up in that position. And what I mean by that is like, if you see somebody in a relationship where they're getting treated very badly and it's very embarrassing to everybody, they're probably being abused. And it's probably like they feel like they can't leave the person. And the same way that, you know, we make fun of Monet, for example, is a perfect thing. Even though I don't do it anymore, I really don't think and never have thought it was funny that people make fun of. Okay, there's MLM girlies, like the people at the top who are already making like hundreds of thousands of dollars by taking advantage of people. That's not who I'm referring to here. I'm referring to people that you went to high school with that were really, really quiet, maybe didn't have a lot of friends, and now you see them posting about an opportunity where they think they're making money or a small baking business or something like that and just putting themselves out there. And it's like people rag on people taking a chance on themselves, and it's like, why is that funny? What? Because they're like literally just trying to pay their rent? Like, what about that is funny? Stuff like that just really bothers me. I think it's really important to assess what you're making fun of and question like why it's so funny to you, because it's probably just like a manifestation of one of your own insecurities, and you think it's embarrassing that somebody else is willing to put that insecurity to the side and you aren't. So the next time you're making fun of a homeless person, saying they smell, making fun of the way they look or they speak, or being like, well, why are they doing that? Why are they acting like that? Or seeing somebody's mom try to like sell her knitted clothes on Facebook and like she's typing weird or something. Give people a fucking break. Like, everybody's trying their best. Stop being mean. Literally, you're being an asshole. You're making the world a darker place. Next, treat the world like your family. I love this one. What I mean by this is like, give people snacks, give people money. We are literally all human, and this idea that we have built around like our blood family is our only family, and like our friends are our friends and everybody else is this stranger that we have nothing to do with is not true. We are literally all connected. We're all human. When you're driving on the highway and you're like looking at people in their cars, like they are in their own head. They have this entire own storyline of themselves. Everybody has their own complex life. So the next time you're on the train and you're eating Twizzlers, this happened to me once, literally just be like, you want one? Most of the time people are going to say no to you just because they're worried about like their safety and their health now with COVID. But just share with people, and it doesn't always have to be food, obviously. Most of the time, that $5 in your pocket, listen, I know people are like, I work hard for my own money, I'm not going to give it away like that, but let's be real. You are the $5 you have like of cash in your pocket that you never end up using is really not that important. And I hate when people who, and again, I'm not saying homeless people are entitled to your money or something like that, but if you are literally at like a stable job and you're passing an obvious real homeless person, I think it's silly to choose between your cash and be like, I'm just going to give them a single and not a 10, because the 10 isn't that important. It's really not. What is that? Like literally one Starbucks drink, and then if you got like a cake pop. And I'm not saying you should be giving away all your hard-earned money out of guilt or something like that. But my point is that it's so important to share out of the place in your heart of being like, I would want somebody to do that for me. Like, it would make me so happy if somebody would do that for me. Because think of yourself in a position where you're like, oh, I wish somebody would just answer my phone call right now. I wish somebody would just like spare me this. I wish somebody would just bring me here or something like that. Like, it almost rarely ever happens, but when it does, it's like you're literally jumping up and down like, oh my God, thank you for this working out. Thank you for this working out. So like, if you could be that person for somebody else, why wouldn't you want to be? And this is just like simple things too. It doesn't even have to be money, like putting your carriage back, or like if you drop something off a rack, like put it back. And I strongly believe that when you fail to do those little effort things, that it will reflect back on you. Like, I always think that if I like cheat somebody $5 that I owe them or something like that, that somebody's gonna like buy something off my website and then scam me or something, and I'm gonna be like, oh my god, why is this happening to me? That's like a silly example, but you know what I mean. Be nice when you can. Not only because it will come back to you, not for selfish reasons, but just because everybody would want that for themselves. It's nice to be nice. Next one, if you hate your situation or your environment, view it through your wiser, nostalgic eyes until you can get out of it. So I'm in this situation currently. Maybe I shouldn't be like sharing this intimate detail of myself, but I'm still living at home. I hate it here. I'm really not happy. I feel restricted. I feel like I am 16. I feel like I cannot be who I want to be. And it's very easy to be like, oh my God, I hate my hometown. It's so boring. But what I try to do is when I'm driving through town or when I'm waking up in the morning, I try to look at everything like it's my last few days and I have a flight out of here and I can't believe I'm moving. And it really brings that fondness back and makes you be like, it's really not all that bad. And when I do leave here, even though I want to get out of here, it is going to make me a little bit sad, obviously. And this stuff really helps you react calmer to things as well. If you're a very emotionally reactive person, if maybe you're in a relationship that you're like trying to get out of, but there's like a situation where you have to like tough it out for some reason, you will handle things a lot more calmly by telling yourself like, these are the last few days, this is all I have to deal with, and then it's done, like I'm good. So just try to assess your situations as your higher self and it will go much smoother. Don't deprive yourself of things you'd never deprive a child of, your inner child to be specific. This helped me because I wouldn't say I have a binge eating disorder. I don't think it's that serious, like to that degree of like things that I've seen other people talk about. But I definitely have a tendency, I have disordered eating, that's what I should say. I don't have an eating disorder, but I have disordered eating very often, like pretty much every day. A lot of my thoughts are consumed by how I look from any given angle. I could be having a full-on conversation with somebody and be thinking the whole time, like, do I look huge right now from the perspective of the person standing behind me? Like, what can I eat today that's going to satisfy me, but it's not going to make me bloat? What time do I have to stop eating so I'm not bloated for the thing I have to do tomorrow? Like, it's very chaotic and it would really affect the way I was eating and the things I was choosing to eat or restricting myself of. And a good thing that I read somewhere, I wish I could find the source for it, but it was like saying how you should never say yes or no to some type of food item specifically, but this could apply to anything that you would say to a child. So, like, if your younger self came up to you, or let's say you had a child, and they were like, can I have this entire box of cookies? You would be like, you wouldn't say no, but you wouldn't say yes. And you would be like, you can have one or two of these because I know you want to enjoy it and it's good to have dessert. I want you to enjoy your things. But if you eat the whole thing, you're going to get sick. Like, you wouldn't look at your 10-year-old self and if she was like, can I have pasta for dinner? You wouldn't be like, no, that's going to make you fat as fuck and you have to go out tomorrow. And when you make decisions based off of that, you care for yourself more and it's easier, because when we make decisions based on ourselves, obviously if you have low self-esteem, you're not thinking clearly. You have like a biased decision-making process because you don't like yourself or you don't respect yourself as you should. So when you imagine it being somebody else, especially a child, you start to act with a lot more care and a lot more empathy and a lot more room for comfortability. Bouncing off of that, the next one, reverse diets are the truth, baby. When you restrict yourself, listen, I'm not a dietitian, so whatever, disclaimer, but restricting yourself of all these things like keto diet or something like that, or just being like, oh my God, I'm just never going to eat sweets again, X, Y, and Z. The caloric deficit thing, yes. Stay in that. But if you are one of those people, especially women, where you're trying to stay under 1,200 calories and you're like not losing weight and you're like, what's going on? You literally just need to burn more than you eat. You can eat whatever you want. And if you can regulate your caloric intake to 2,500 and end up eating Probably not as much as you want every single day, but still having that leeway to enjoy the things that you love without feeling guilty about it. Do that so your body adjusts to like, oh, okay, this is like how much we're taking in every day, and then just do some weights. Like, it is not worth restricting your entire life of the things you like and letting all of those thoughts consume your life. When you are in your casket, you're going to be like, I wasted so much goddamn time, enjoyment, and energy on like just saying no to regular pasta and getting veggie pasta. Like, what the hell? The next one, it's okay to do things that aren't productive or don't make you money. They are not a waste of time because they are an investment in your happiness. I think that's pretty obvious what the point is there. But I am somebody that when I am not doing something that I feel like is making me money or making me a better person, I think it's a waste of time. Sometimes it's just okay to watch a YouTube video that isn't about self-care, spirituality, or investments. It's okay to just enjoy a movie. Maybe that was just a lesson for me, but if it helps somebody, ding, ding, ding. It's okay to just enjoy things. Next one, get off your phone. I was on a social media break for like 3 months. It was literally just supposed to be 2 weeks. I thought it was going to be so hard. I didn't miss it, and I just don't really use anything anymore besides TikTok, solely because I learn a lot off of TikTok and I like to do like work stuff through there. But it's melting your brain. It's such a waste of time. Like, I guarantee you don't even remember the last hour of you scrolling. So just get off of it. And again, it doesn't mean, oh my God, you should feel so guilty. You should be doing something productive. But at least watch something, like do something that's going to like stimulate a creative part of your brain or make you feel good. Because all that scrolling, baby, it is so empty. It is not making you feel anything. And if it's making you feel something, I guarantee it's negative. Next, ask yourself why you dislike or judge the things you do, and if it says more about you than them. This kind of bounces off the thing I was saying before about not judging other people because you could end up in their shoes. But if you are hate following people on social media, or you find yourself people watching and like only having negative thoughts go through your head, here, you know what? I'm going to reveal a secret, that something that I used to do very badly in high school. I thought I was huge in high school. I thought I was so far gone. Like, I thought I was very obese. That's just how I felt. I am not exaggerating. I thought I was like the biggest person. I said no to plans all the time because I literally felt ashamed to like show myself where I wasn't needed. I even stopped going to school because of this. But I would look at people that probably honestly were just the same size as me, like a skinny fat person, and be like, all they have to do is like do 100 sit-ups every night and then they would be so skinny. Like, they're so lucky. It's just a little tummy they have on them. Like, why can't they just do that? They would be perfect. Like, I wish that was my situation. But me, I'm 50 pounds overweight. It's going to be so hard. And it was such like negative thinking, and it wasn't from a place of like this person's ugly or this person like is lazy or something. It was just like, oh, I wish I was in their situation. Like, it's so much easier. On top of another thing I struggled with was growing up in a rich ass town and like literally not having our electricity on at home. And I always felt like when my wealthier friends got to take their dad's credit card or their parents gave them a 50 every Friday to like spend stuff on the weekends, I was like, they are so silly for not saving all of this money and then investing it into something, because they can get the money so disposable and so easy from their parents. Like, they should be making better choices. And all of these things that were running through my head was just a projection of how I felt about myself. These people did not need to even lose weight, and they didn't even need to be making investments. Let's be real, they were 14. It's sad that I had these thoughts, but those judgments that I was passing was literally just how I felt about myself and putting it onto them because their cards that they were dealt for life look different. So if you see yourself thinking a certain way about somebody in particular, or just random people or groups of people, it probably has something to do with you. This is literally what we see with like closeted football players that are so fucking mean to the gay kid growing up, and it's literally just because they were gay and they were angry that the gay kid was able to be gay and they weren't. Just be an adult about your thought process and use your awareness. Next, we are literally so blessed to have the internet, and we need to take advantage of that. I say this all the time too. Can you believe that we have the ability to connect with people all over the world and access information about anything, but we use it to like make our lives look 10% better online, or like just follow models. Like, what is fucking wrong with us? I think people should treat the internet more like it's getting taken away from us in a month, because I guarantee you'll be doing a lot more research, looking up things that you always wanted to learn, and connecting with people you always wanted to connect with. And I learned this lesson actually because was I like selling something? What was I doing? I think I was just trying to build like an online oh, you know what it was? I started Saint Vanity. It was that boutique that I had, my online boutique that I had, and I think I broke my phone or something, and I didn't have like a phone for a week or two, and I realized how special it is to have the ability to connect with consumers, and this doesn't have to be a business thing, but just like potential customers and influencer marketing and stuff like that, and I didn't have my phone, so I was thinking about all the things that I could be doing if I just had it. And once I got my phone back, I got a lot of work done, because I was like, oh my God, like I could be spending all this time that I'm spending on my personal Instagram, like growing this, turning it into such a successful brand. So it is a weapon and an advantage, but try to use it for the better good, connect with people that are just like you all over the world, and you can really do a lot of positive impact on the internet. So take advantage of it. Opportunity is literally everywhere. It is knocking at your door right on the other side of your comfort zone. Kind of corny, but again, pretty obvious lesson that I think we all learn at some point. Most of the things you want and don't have and complain about are in your control. It's just easier to say, oh, it's not going to work out because X, Y, and Z. When in reality, somebody in a shittier position than you is probably doing it with less experience and less skill and less resources and making it work just because they believed in themselves. I guarantee the thing that you want so badly is approachable. You just need to be willing to put your comfort zone to the side for a moment, and that's when like you really start to thrive. The next one, it's worth accepting your parents as they are rather than hating them for everything they're not. This is something I'm still learning. My opinions on this might change. I expected a lot of specific things out of both of my parents, and I hated them for not meeting my expectations. But all that does is imprison my heart and my head and hold them guilty as well, rather than just taking advantage of the fact that we're all still alive, we all still can connect with each other, and there's still time to build a new relationship based off of reality and not what could have been. This could stand true to other types of relationships, but I think with our parents and particularly people, even if it was a positive upbringing with them, everybody has a little resentment about something towards their even if you grew up in a positive environment, I feel like everybody has some sort of little resentment or trauma towards their family. And it's important to just free yourself of the mental shackles you put on yourself and them, and just try to grow with what's there rather than what's not. The next one is trauma is hereditary, and no, it's not our fault, but it is our responsibility to fix it both mentally and physically for ourselves. If you are 20 and you have chronic back pain, I hate to be a woo-woo spiritual master right now, but if you have like unexplained chronic pain or an invisible disease, as they call it, like fibromyalgia or something, it's most likely because you have a lot of unhealed emotional pain and it manifested physically into your body because it needed a place to go. And all that tension you have in your head is now in your neck, it's in your back. Your muscles are literally tense because you are a tense human. You have human feelings that are suffocating you because you're not addressing them. And if you're very traumatically broken and you're in shambles and you're this emotional mess, no, it is not your fault if you were mistreated or abused or taken advantage of, but it is your responsibility to heal, because I guarantee that person that hurt you was unhealed because of something they went through, and you do not want to repeat the process. For your own sake, get help, speak to people, work on healing yourself, and try to undo and heal and unlearn the damage before you repeat it, if not to somebody else, to yourself. The next one, literally the only reason you're here is to learn how to love yourself is to love others, and you are God and the universe experiencing itself. So The thing about this is just, when are we all going to learn that at the end of the day, everybody has the same story and the same pain and everybody just wants the same thing? Literally. The best people in the world and the most evil people in the world, everyone along the spectrum, we all just want to feel validated and heard and seen and loved. Even fucking serial killers share those feelings with us. So it's best to just try to take things at face value and not project all of these built resentment perspectives that we have on groups of people and put them onto others without even like hearing what's going on first. Again, this is a product of like internet hatred and people going against people and there just being a giant divide. Yes, people have bad intentions, but they usually come from a place of like a lack of love and care. And no, I'm not saying if somebody's like crazy racist or something, you should like give them a hug. That's not what I'm saying. But your job here is not to go to work every day. It's not to fight people on the internet. It's not to be mad at your parents or your ex-boyfriend or your kids or something all day. Your job is to calm down and love yourself. You are literally God experiencing itself. No disrespect, like I don't care what you believe in because it's still the same lesson. To love yourself is to love others. And again, just try to be good when you can be. The next one, look at everything as an ROI, return of investment. If something, someone, or some situation is sucking up all of your energy and you're not getting anything in return for it, why are you doing it? So let's say you're investing all of your time at a job. What is your return? Are you at least getting paid very well? You're spending all of this time working out. You may be losing weight, but is the return of the investment that you're feeling better about yourself? If not, the gym probably wasn't the problem. It was probably therapy. And if you're putting all of your energy into a man and you're not getting more than 50% back, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your time? Imagine your time, your feelings, all of it like money, and you will stop spending it so stupidly. The next one, you can literally wake up and decide to be a new person every day. There is no wrong decision. Those are two different things, but I feel like they kind of go in the same lesson. Stop telling yourself you can only do. Stop telling yourself you have to stay. Oh, I just have to stay in this situation a little bit longer. I can't quit my job because then what am I going to do with X, Y, and Z? Oh, I can't start that idea I wanted to do because it's going to be embarrassing or because I don't have enough X, Y, and Z. I'm afraid to break up with him because I feel like nobody else is going to like me. Like, please save everybody the drama. Everybody goes through the same shit every single day. Choose who you want to be, and if you're unhappy that day, it's because you're not acting like her, and you need to start acting like her. If you want to be this, like, boss bitch girl, why are you getting up at 2 p.m? That's not what she would do. She would get a good sleep, she'd wake up a little bit earlier, and she'd have a coffee, and she probably wouldn't be super hungover and waking up to text of her ex responding to her sloppy text the night before. Figure out who you want to be, show up as them. I know that's a corny Figure out who you want to be, show up as them. I know that's a corny boss girl quote. But seriously, the really like confident it girl, I'm moving to New York City version of you would not be looking up a 13-year-old girl's TikTok on how to manifest a text from your ex. Stop doing that shit. Literally, you're driving yourself crazy. It's nuts. Stop and get a grip. Last one, guys, 24. The only stories that matter are the ones we believe to be true. If you are telling yourself these stories that you don't deserve or you aren't worthy of asking for the things that you truly want out of your life, that is going to be what your reality is, because that is the story you're telling yourself. If you're in a rough situation and it is dark and muddy right now and you feel like affirmations and stuff is lying to yourself, the story you need to tell yourself is, yes, I may be in a tough situation now, but it's all going to pay off very soon, and this is all just going to be a distant memory. And then guess what? You telling yourself that all the time, things are going to start turning. You're going to start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and you're going to be like, oh my God, I was right the whole time. And if you're someone that's constantly wallowing, or you're quote unquote in a rut, I hate when people say that, and you're just like, I just want it to get easier, I just wish X, Y, and Z, you're not ending the story on a positive note, so you're always going to be that miserable person walking in circles. All in all, I think every rule here, every lesson I've learned since my 24 years of life is to stop torturing yourself. Do not be so hard on yourself. Things are much simpler than we make them. I really missed you guys. This was nice for me. I don't know why. I feel like there's kind of like a sad vibe over this. Maybe it's just because it's raining and it's nighttime. But I did miss you guys. I'm not going to promise that I'm still going to do this like every single week from now, just because I'm going to be real. I have a lot on my plate. I'm trying to work a lot just so I can get out of my situation. And as much as I love doing the podcast, I want it to be the best it can be. And I don't want this to turn into something I force myself to do every week, because then you guys will hear it and it won't be fun for you as a listener. But I love you guys so much. I cannot believe I'm 24. If you got to the end of this, you need to if you got to the end of this, you need to post on your story something you love about me. That's what I want. That's what I want for my birthday. Gas me the fuck up. And if it's not my birthday anymore and you're like, oh my God, Kayla, but I'm listening to this on July 28th. I don't care. Post the thing you love about me. Tag me. No, I'm kidding. Well, I'm not. Please do it. But I love you guys so much, and thank you guys so much for just constantly supporting me despite my inconsistency. Like, seeing DMs from you guys being like, when's the next episode? That alone makes me just so happy and makes me want to do this. I hope some of the stuff I said today helps you guys. I know that I need to practice what I preach more often, and I'm definitely not saying all of that from a place of superiority, because it's lessons I still need to learn. But I'm going to try and use this episode as a little thing to play back when I need to hear it. I love you guys. I promise season 2 is going to be a banger. It will be worth the wait. So I'm sorry if I'm not going to be popping back here every week. But please go leave a rating on the podcast. It really helps me out so we can get the ball moving for season 2. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I really want a video version. Like, I don't want to start season 2 unless I can have a video version, because that's where the magic is going to happen. I can feel it. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening. Go rate the podcast. Follow K Money Hotline and Young Kales on all platforms. And I will talk to you soon.